Tonight, we're going to be talking about self-compassion during these uncertain times. And really, when you think about self-compassion, you can think of it as there's three components to that self-compassion. And one is being, again, that kindness and compassion towards yourself versus judging yourself. So that's number one. Number two is a sense of community. So having even all of us together tonight brings some sense of community, even though we're not together in one big room, versus isolation. And the third being a sense of bringing mindfulness. So bringing awareness and presence to what is happening versus being in that state of constant fight or flight, being in that constant state of fear and worry. So that can sometimes be things that have happened in the past that we're worried about, or something that maybe might happen in the future that hasn't happened, that we're constantly going over and over in our mind. So bringing mindfulness to that. So those three things bring self-compassion. And the ability to be compassionate to ourselves is being able to feel it and to acknowledge it. And so from a place of kindness and compassion. And so when we're not aware of it, when we're pushing it away or judging it or making a story about it, instead of being kind and compassionate to ourselves, it's really hard to move on and move forward. And so tonight, that is the message I wanted to get through about self-compassion, is bringing that kindness, caring for yourself, just like you would if your friend was hurt, being that way to yourself. And so many times we don't think of that. We always are taking care of others, and we're sometimes forgetting ourselves. And so when we come from that place of kindness and compassion for ourselves, then that ripples out to others. So again, before we begin the mind and the nutrition and the body part of our session tonight, again, we just wanted to let you know that your microphones have been muted. There will be a part at the end of the session that we can all talk and share and ask questions. So if you can hold off until the end to do that, that would be wonderful. And know too that you can also turn your video off if you'd like. You don't have to have your video on during this session. And again, like Joan said, these will be recorded. These sessions will be recorded. And finally, at the end, after our question and answer session, there'll be just a brief few questions to answer. If you don't mind doing that, so that we can ensure that you are getting everything you want from these sessions, we would appreciate it very much. So any questions before we begin? Okay, great. And I know some of you have shared with me that you have practiced mindfulness, that you do have a meditation practice. For those of you who this is your first time maybe practicing meditation, really coming from a place of, again, kindness and compassion for yourself, and being open to what might happen. I remember the first time I meditated, I was like, I've never done this before, and I need to get out of this room, because to be, for us to stop and be still and to notice our body and our thoughts and emotions, it can be a lot. So just instead of maybe making a story about it or judging it, come to this practice with just a gentle curiosity and see what happens. So be open to what might happen tonight. And I'm here for you. I'll be, again, available, to ask answer any questions at the end, and also I will share with my information if you have any more questions about this practice. So let's begin with a brief body scan to start our mind portion of this session. So finding yourself in a comfortable seated position, noticing your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting in your lap. Your spine upright and alert. And if it's available to you, slowly begin to close your eyes. If closing your eyes is not available, leaving your eyes open, gazing down at a spot in front of you so that you, for the next few minutes, will be able to keep that inward focus and not be distracted by any movement in the room. And so with your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting gently in front of you, take a moment to check in. Noticing your body feeling at ease, tense. Remembering that we're not judging, we're not making a story, we're just noticing your body. Taking a moment to notice your mind, feeling active, calm. Coming from a place of kindness and compassion for wherever you are tonight. And as we begin to scan the body, just noticing any areas where you feel discomfort, maybe hold tension in your body, and allow your body to relax and let go. Starting at the top of your head, allowing the top of your head to melt. Feeling your forehead. Your eyes. Allowing your eyelids to rest gently over your eyes. Softening the space between your eyes. Feeling your cheeks, your jaw, allowing your upper lip and your lower lip to soften as you allow your jaw to completely relax and let go. Feeling your neck, your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, and your hands. Taking a moment to notice your hands feeling warm, cool. Any sensations in your hands, tingling. And allow your hands to completely relax and let go. Feeling your chest rise and fall with each breath. Allowing your stomach to expand and soften. Feeling your upper back, your lower back, and your hips. Allowing the chair or the surface beneath you to support you and hold you upright as you allow your hips to soften and let go. Feeling your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, and your feet. Allowing your feet to rest gently on the surface beneath you. Imagining the chair and the surface beneath you supporting your entire body. As you notice any tension, discomfort, and allow that area to soften and relax. And when you're ready, slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. And very slowly and softly, opening your eyes, gently coming back into the room. Taking just another moment to check back in. Noticing your body, feeling any changes in that brief exercise. And so as we begin to talk about mindfulness and meditation and bringing these practices into your life, a lot of times people will ask, what is the difference between mindfulness and meditation? And are they the same? And so I like to use a simple description of mindfulness being present in the moment, using your five senses. So using your hearing, sight, smell, taste, touch, and feel. This includes using and noticing your thoughts and emotions as they come and they go. And so that is mindfulness. So a lot of times people will say, well, I have a mindfulness practice because I run every day. And so I'm using those five senses as I'm running, when I'm running. And yes, that is correct. You are using mindfulness. So a lot of times people will experience mindfulness when they're cooking or when they're singing or playing music or listening to music. Those are all ways to practice mindfulness. What is meditation? Meditation is one way to cultivate mindfulness. And so why do we do meditation? Because we know today with modern day science that this practice of meditation that we're going to do tonight for 5 to 6 minutes a day over 8 weeks makes changes in our brain and our body. So that area of the brain, the amygdala, and that's responsible for the stress and anxiety in our body, excretes this hormone called cortisol. That's the stress hormone. We know that that hormone decreases over time. And the area of the brain that's responsible for our happiness and making good decisions, the prefrontal cortex, that lights up, that increases over time. And so when I first heard all of that, I was like, wait, so they take this group of people who meditate and they do these MRIs and they find this information out. And then they do the group of people who don't meditate and do MRIs and they find all these changes with the meditators. I was like, I don't know. I was like still skeptical, but I know now with my own practice over years that this is true. And it doesn't mean that every day I am mindful and happy and everything is great. What it does mean is that I'm bringing awareness to what is happening, to all the emotions from a place of kindness and compassion. And it doesn't mean that that happens all the time. So sometimes it's after the fact, like after some interaction goes not quite right, I'm able to bring awareness to it. And this practice of stopping, being still, taking a couple of deep breaths, coming from a place of kindness and compassion, allows me to make a choice of how I want to respond, how I want to react to whatever situation it is. Know that this is a practice, that this is not a destination. And so we come to this practice again and again each day. And know too, some of you who are meditators who have been maybe dabbling in mindfulness, know that each day is different. Some days we feel really calm, and there are other days when we're not feeling so calm. It's that being kind and compassionate to yourself with whatever it is that's happening. That is it. That is the practice. And so sometimes when people will be like, well, how do I know if I'm meditating right? Know that when you stop and you're still, it is perfectly normal for your mind to wander. It is your mind may wander 10 times during this session. It may wander 1,000 times. It is that action of noticing your mind wandering and coming back to your body and your breath. That is meditation. You are doing it right. And so sometimes people will be like, oh, good, meditation, now my mind can go blank. I wish I could do that for you. I wish I could help your mind go blank. But unfortunately, we can't do that because your mind is active. It's always, thoughts and emotions are always coming in. So just remember, it's that act of noticing your mind wandering away and then coming back to your breath. And so tonight we're going to use the breath to focus on during our meditation, because the breath is always with us. We can use this practice anywhere, anytime. So you can use it in a formal meditation setting. You can also use it at your desk at work, in the kitchen when you're talking with family members. You can use it in the grocery store line. Anywhere, anytime. You always have your breath. So let's do a brief meditation practice together. I'm going to start a little music. And again, know that your mind is going to wander. That is perfectly okay. It's that action of coming back to your breath again and again. And so there's nothing for you to do. I'm going to guide you. So I just want you to, again, find yourself with your 2 feet on the floor, your arms and hands resting gently in front of you, your spine upright and alert, and allow your shoulders to move away from your ears. And if it's available to you, closing your eyes. If not, keeping your eyes open, gazing down at a spot in front of you. Keeping that inward focus on your body and your breath. We'll begin by setting an intention for tonight's practice. An intention is one word, phrase, something that you would like to see more of in your life. This word could be compassion, patience, strength, whatever word feels right for you. And on your next breath, taking a nice deep breath through the nose, repeating your intention silently, and exhaling. Again, breathing in your intention and breathing out. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. Starting to follow each breath. Following each inhale and each exhale. Bringing awareness to each inhale, allowing your body to relax even more on the exhale. Allowing each inhale to nourish you, each exhale letting everything go. Gentle with your thoughts as they come and they go. Gentle with each breath. Allowing your entire body to expand on the inhale, soften on the exhale. And as we slowly begin to bring this practice to a close, bringing to mind the intention that you set in the beginning. And on your next breath, taking a nice deep breath through the nose, repeating your intention silently, and exhaling. Again, breathing in your intention and breathing out. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. Taking just another moment with that intention. As you contemplate bringing it into your life, what does that intention look like? And giving yourself appreciation for this practice, knowing that this practice not only benefits you, it benefits others in your life. And when you're ready, slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers, very slowly and softly, coming back into the room, gently, taking a moment to check back in, noticing any changes, coming from a place of kindness and compassion for wherever you are. And so as we slowly transition from the mind to the nutrition part of our program, taking just a moment to maybe think about how this crisis has changed your nutrition habits, all the changes that have taken place, your schedule. And one thing that I'd like to start with when we're talking about nutrition is hydration. And so often we forget to make sure that we're drinking plenty of fluids and realizing that sometimes when our energy is low or we're experiencing headache or stomach ache, a lot of times it's from dehydration. So ways that we can notice when we're dehydrated is a dry mouth, again, headache, stomach ache, feeling our energy low. And sometimes by just drinking one glass of water, that can be very beneficial and helpful. So they say that drinking 7 glasses a day is the best. And, if you can drink more than that, that's great too. So I just wanted to start our nutrition part with that, because oftentimes we forget how important it is to make sure that we're getting enough fluids. And the other thing too is just, again, staying on that schedule before. Maybe some of us are working from home now, trying to keep on that schedule when you had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And know too that be gentle with yourself. And a lot of times people have been telling me, oh, I've been eating so many sweets and I've been baking cakes, and yeah, that's okay too. So it's not a crime to treat yourself, but just to bring mindfulness and awareness to how often you're doing that. And when you're doing that, are you hungry, or are you doing it because of, your emotions? And so being kind to yourself during this time is very important. So I just wanted to mention a couple. This week we're going to talk about healthy snacks to have on hand. Um, so yeah, so I'm just going to go through a few different things to keep in mind. It's sometimes really fun to make your own trail mix using nuts and seeds and dried fruit. You can even put dark chocolate in there that has a lot of healthy benefits. So I always like to not forget my dark chocolate. And then blending smoothies using frozen fruit, Greek yogurt, and a milk of your choice is another healthy snack to have on hand. Making veggie trays with different dips, cottage cheese, and hard-boiled eggs are always good to have on hand. Remember that they could be refrigerated for up to a week. And then creating meat roll-ups, so using different meats, bell peppers, cucumbers, pickles, and slicing up apples, bananas, and even having some nut butter available is a nice addition to those different bananas and apples. So those are some of the things just to think about. Planning is really important. I know sometimes right now we're not going to the grocery store as often as we were. So planning ahead, even maybe a week or two. And obviously, like, having fresh fruits and vegetables on hand is optimal, but knowing that it's okay to use frozen and canned goods as well. The other thing that people have been asking me about are, dieting. And so really being careful with that because of the limited time that you're getting to the grocery store and the limited resources and foods that are available at this time. If you can't get that, that can cause increased stress and anxiety. And right now, you don't need that. You really want to make sure you're nourishing your body with foods that are healthy. And also thinking about the colors of foods that you're eating. So eating colors of the rainbow is a really nice way to think about it. What colors that you are nourishing your body with. So making sure you change it up a little bit. So that wraps up our nutrition part of it. And now I would like to go into some gentle chair yoga exercises. So I'd like to say before we begin to only do as much or as little as you feel comfortable with. And so if at any time you're feeling discomfort, please stop and find yourself in a comfortable seated position and noticing your breath and taking this time to nourish your body with your breath. So we nourish our body with food, and we also can nourish our body with our breath and just being still. These are simple exercises that you can do at your desk. You can do it throughout your day that we often forget. And we're going to do these very gently and very slowly. And we're going to use our breath as we do each stretch. So taking a moment to check in with your body, noticing how your body is feeling right now. Again, finding yourself in a comfortable seated position, your shoulders away from your ears, noticing your bottom on the chair, your abdomen engaged, and very slowly starting to do very gentle neck rolls in one direction. And so noticing any sounds as you roll your neck gently. And then coming back up to center. And then very, very slowly in the opposite direction. Very gently rolling your neck in one direction. Taking a nice deep breath in. And breathing out. Finding yourself back up into stillness, Noticing with those gentle exercises any changes in your neck, in your head. And then very slowly rolling your shoulders in one direction. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. And then very slowly in the opposite direction. Rolling your shoulders, breathing in and breathing out. Again, coming back to stillness. Noticing any changes with those subtle exercises, changes in your head, neck, shoulders. And now bringing your arms out to either side and gently doing arm circles in one direction. Very slowly and softly. Breathing in and breathing out. Coming to stillness, allowing your arms to extend out, and then very slowly in the opposite direction. And then breathing in and breathing out. Coming back to stillness, leaving your arms out by your side, noticing your arms feeling heavy, light, and allowing your wrist to roll in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. And then shaking your hands and arms out. So many of us are at our computers and we're on our, using our hands and forgetting to stretch our arms and our hands. And taking a moment with your arms and hands resting gently in front of you to notice any changes. Noticing your neck, your shoulders, your arms, sensations, tingling, feeling heavy, feeling light. Again, we're just noticing what is happening right here in the present moment. And now bringing your arms above your head, taking your left hand around your right wrist, and then very gently coming over to your left side, feeling that stretch in your hip, your side, your arm. Allowing on the inhale to lengthen, and on the exhale, letting go. Again, taking a nice deep breath here, breathing in and breathing out. Very gently coming back to center with your arms above your head, taking your right hand around your left wrist, very gently coming over to your right side, noticing that stretch in your hip as you're grounded to your chair, your abdomen engaged. And on the inhale, lengthening. And on the exhale, letting go. One more time, taking a nice deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. And then very gently coming back up to center. And very slowly, in slow motion, bringing your arms back down, very slowly, back down in front of you, resting on your lap or by your side. And with those gentle movements, again, checking back in, noticing any sensations in your hips, your side, your arms, shoulders, neck, with those very gentle exercises. Noticing any changes, sensations. And now coming back to center in your chair, and very slowly and softly bringing your right hand to the back of your chair, bringing your left hand to your right knee, and feeling a slight twist to the right side. Again, noticing your hip, your side, and on the inhale, lengthening, and on the exhale, letting go. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. And very slowly and softly coming back, taking a moment to check in, noticing any changes in the right or the left side. And then taking your left hand to the back of your chair, your right hand on your left knee, and feeling that twist over to the left side, very gently. Lengthening on the inhale, letting go on the exhale. One more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. And then very slowly and gently coming back to center. Checking back in. Closing your eyes for just a moment. And noticing any changes. Your body feeling active, calm, tense. Just noticing. And then very slowly coming back into the room, knowing that you have these gentle exercises to do anytime. That concludes our chair exercises for this evening. We have about 5 or 6 minutes left. I'd like to leave this time for any questions that you have about this practice tonight. Maybe what you noticed during the body scan, meditation, nutrition, or stretching. You can unmute yourself and share your experiences if you'd like.
Cindy, did you find when you started practice that you did it at the same time every day, or was it hard to make yourself get into the habit of doing it?
Yeah, so they say that you should, if you want to begin a practice, start, the same time each day. And so, and also in the same place. So when you start the same time, the same place, then that becomes like a habit. There will be days when you have something else that comes up where you're not able to practice. And so you may come to that practice later that day, that evening, whatever time works best for you. But trying to stay consistent with the time and the place is very helpful.
And do you have any particular like YouTube meditations that you use, or apps, phone apps that you use for meditations?
Right. That's a great question. So a lot of times people will ask, you know, some people like music, some people like guided meditation, some people like just silence. So it all depends. But Insight Timer and Calm are both great apps to begin with. And then, you know, maybe not starting with 5 there, you know, to 8 minutes, maybe just starting with 1 minute and taking baby steps, and then gradually increasing throughout the, you know, throughout the weeks. Maybe for the first week, just doing 1 or 2 minutes and then increasing it as you go along can be very helpful too.
So Insight and what was the other one? Insight Timer
And
and
Calm.
Calm. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Those are great apps to start with.
Okay.
I also have on my website, midatlanticmindfulness.com, there's 8 free meditations. And so each week again has a, you know, different topic and leads from, you know, the previous week. So if you'd like to listen to those, and also you can message me on that website if you have any questions about tonight's practice or anything for that matter. Please don't hesitate to let me know.
Okay. And you're going to be sharing a handout with everyone, correct? Could
Yes.
you, and did you put your website on and your contact information on that handout so that people could contact you?
Yes.
And I noticed a couple of times you mentioned the 8 weeks. Is that habit forming? Do you feel like if you do this for 8 weeks, that's how you develop the habit?
Yes, definitely. When I first started too, I would set a timer, and it, like, every day at 3 o'clock, it would ring. And so if I was at work and I couldn't get to, you know, my practice right at that time, then I would come to it later. But what happened was every day even now, every day at 3, I'm like, oh, stop, take a couple deep breaths, and then come from kindness and compassion. So now it's just become a habit. So it's really, yeah, it's really, and be gentle with yourself. You know, you may forget, you may start the practice, you may drop off. That's okay. Just come again, you know, each day, start again.
That's great.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how often do you find you need to switch up what you're doing to meditate? For example, for a while I was doing a 40-minute meditation daily, but then social distancing and staying at home, you know, pulled in, and I have kids, so I've had to give up my practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that 40 minutes was really nice for me, but not doable at this point. So what do you think, like a minimum, I mean, is there a minimum time you think that could benefit someone? And also, do you think people need to change it up every once in a while?
Rachel, those are great questions. And my heart goes out to you, you know, going from that practice of 40 minutes and now being home, right? And not having maybe those 40 minutes to practice. So even if you have moments throughout your day, so studies have shown 8 to 10 minutes a day over 8 weeks, right? But they also have shown even with 11 hours, like not in 8 weeks, just over time makes those changes in the brain that I talked about. Okay. So even if you get in just moments throughout your day, they don't have to be consecutive.
Right.
Of checking in, like, whoa, okay, wow, feeling tension in my shoulders, feeling tension in my jaw, taking a nice deep breath, allowing your body to let go. Doing those simple exercises throughout the day can be very beneficial, just as beneficial as 8 minutes consecutively.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Great question.
Do you also recommend changing up your practice every once in a while, just so you don't get used to the same thing over and over?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I mean, I think it's different. I think it can be different for each individual. So I know some people who do the same practice, the same day, the same time, you know, and they stick to it and it works for them. If you find yourself maybe getting like your mind, you know, wandering the whole time, or really, you know, not feeling like you're being as focused on your meditation as you have been in the past, maybe it is time to change it up, change to something else. Again, I know a lot of people who they said when they first started meditating, music was very helpful, but now it's like it's not helpful, and now they're just, you know, meditating in silence, or vice versa. So I think it all depends. You honor and listen to your own body, because everyone's different.
Mm-hmm. I like that, because this is the first time I've meditated with music in pretty much ever. And it was something different, and it was a different experience. So I was able to appreciate that today.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Cindy, this has been wonderful. I just want to remind everybody, thank everyone for coming, and remind you that we will be doing this every Wednesday evening in the month of May from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So if you would like to join us on any of those Wednesdays, just go to our website and then click on that evening's program and register, and Cindy will be back with us today, and we'll follow the same setup where we'll have a discussion. Well, Cindy will have the discussion in the beginning, and then we'll go through a body scan type of exercise and the seated chair yoga, and then open it up for discussion. So if anybody wants to practice during the next week and then come back with questions, that would be great, because as I said, Cindy will be with us for the whole month of May. So we're really excited about that. And then also we will be sending out a survey, like Cindy said earlier, so that we know, you know, if we're meeting your needs and if there's any other types of programs that you're interested in attending. So thank you, everybody. Are there any other questions? All right, well, have a good evening, and everyone stay safe. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Yes, you too. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Cindy.